1 round at a time, or 5 rounds at once, a repeating label, a forgotten weapon, ribby rolls, shutter, shut up, the RSC. Being the founders of the smokeless gunpowder era, the French made the next big step in firearms history with the mass production of the semi-automatic rifle, the RSC. Before the RSC.17, they were trying to look into semi-auto designs to replace the obsolete label, which was still in service at the time, and of course by World War I they had no choice but to renew the label, and even under wartime pressure they still found time to make a semi-automatic rifle. The M6 Minier rifle was actually the first to be the promising rifle of the semi-automatic rifle era, but with war on the horizon it made it impossible to get it into mass production in time. Although some did see service in World War I. Maybe a key factor of the RSC and the downfall of other weapon prototypes is the 8mm label, and the RSC was basically a somewhat semi-automatic label, while the Minier and other prototype weapons had their prototype ammunitions and prototype weaponry and prototype internals, so they didn't really use other parts to be interchangeable with the label. So that was kind of the downfall of the Minier and other prototype semi-automatic rifles at the time. During World War I, not really much history. It basically served for 1 year of the war, so it was actually an obscure gun. It was actually developed and put into testing in the fall of 1916, and it took up to 1917 to really get into mass production, which is not too bad, even though it's still kind of using label parts. Still though, it was 16 per company, mostly for trench raiders, good marksmen, company commanders, people that would really find it useful, and for personal defense for the company commanders. It was in mass production, but nothing on the scale as the infamous and legendary M1 Garand. How to convert a label into an RSC though? Well, you didn't. It actually shared a lot of parts, well I shouldn't say a lot, but some parts, including the framework, which is part of the buttstock, the length tube, which in turn helps the gas operation inside the label. It even had the bayonet lug left over from the label, and the operating mechanism actually could not work with the internals of the label. The RSC even gave the framework for a handguard, something the label didn't even have at the beginning, so it's kind of its own design at the end of the day. They did use the tube from the leftover label as well, and often, like the birthdays, they would get mud into them, but obviously that was rectified in the 1918 version. But the 1918 version would remedy some of these problems, but by the war's end it was kind of obsolete at best. In the trenches it was forgotten, and by the time Nazi Germany invaded, it was given to few French resistance fighters, some Volkssturm troops, the home defense of Germany. Some also saw on the front lines of France at the beginning of World War II. Very rare indeed. Fun fact, but kind of confusing if you want to keep up with this. The Minier actually inspired the MAS 36, which is the French rifle of World War II, and the MAS 46 was inspired by the RSC, well, the semi-automatic components, and it does look like a MAS, that's why it's called MAS 46, but some of the internals and the semi-auto framework was already there for the MAS 46. So it lives on, even though it's forgotten. Some say it even served in the last colonial war, which is the Rift War. That's the story of the RSC, a rare and uncommon rifle, the first of France, yet again, the first to arm most of their troops with semi-automatic rifles, and it would later be surpassed by the actual first semi-automatic mass-produced rifle of the time, the M1 Garand, but it was still one of France's first, the RSC, Ribberolles, Shutter, Shot, or Show Shot. Alright, thanks again for watching. Yeah, very forgotten weapon. Ian gave me most of the information. I don't really copy to the T, but even the wiki page was not really full. Either way, it was basically the same thing he said, so I would rather listen to Ian than copy and paste on the wiki page. But thanks again. I don't think my video is actually longer than 7 minutes, so that's pretty good. I recorded in a new space today in the same bedroom, so it's pretty cool, Still gets really hot in here, but it's far away from the window, so you get more breeze than actually being by the window and blocking it up. So it's actually a bit more cooler in here, but still gets rather hot because it's still an internal wood room, so wood doesn't really flow air that properly when it's enclosed all at once, and there's no gaps at all, or very little gaps, so it's still going to be hot. But thanks again. I'm in the rocking chair, not the wood box, so hopefully my voice projects a bit better. I don't know. I'm standing up straight, even though rocking chairs are slanted. It's kind of propped against the wall, so it can't really rock anyway, so you won't be, hello, this is, so I won't be rocking back and forth, and my voice will be going back and forth. But thanks again for watching. 2 more, the Labelle Shosha. I might add the Shogun Inertial and the Ribby Rolls. Those are no longer than 5 minutes max. Also, I might add some brutal tools of World War I, such as the nail knife, the cogwheel club, and the trench floor. But that might be hold off to a later date, because getting footage for those are very difficult, and they're kind of classed as brutal tools. So they'll be like on the wiki page, it'll basically be like stabbing tools of World War I, nail knife, trench floor, and the cogwheel club. They're basically all the same. The cogwheel club being a club obviously would be different, but it's the same thing as using a trench. What do you call it? It'll be the same as using a makeshift trench club. Yeah, trench club. So it's nothing really out of the ordinary. It's nothing really mass produced. It's just like some wood, some metal, and some grip, and that's basically it. So thanks again for watching RSC Show Sharp. Tomorrow, or maybe today, since I missed yesterday. And yeah, I'm gonna get my PC restarted hopefully this evening, so I might put them out one time today, so at least if anything, because I already got footage for everything I need, but just in case I need to hop on and get footage, I hope you don't mind seeing something being played again, especially if it's a good clip. If it's a good clip, heck yeah, it'll be shown again. But thanks again for watching. That's basically me, Emo Syndicate out. Learn something, of course.